Howdy, y'all. Remember when we were talking about the water temperature gauge and the problem that I had with finding the water temperature gauge? Well, we're out here in the D4 parts store this morning because I think I got a solution, at least temporarily. This is the original water temp gauge off of Lefty, which I would love to restore and love to fix it up, but I'm not exactly sure that it's working. As you can see, it hasn't returned from when I pegged it before temperature-wise, and I don't know if I want to put this on the machine anyway. Now, I do have a original gauge that a very kind viewer sent me. It's a Sylphin gauge with the original kit, but I think I'm going to save this for now. I'm going to set it aside because we may indeed be using this in the future. This is the original gauge that was on 4G for the oil pressure, and it's a Rochester, not a Sylphin. This is a 224-3342, and this is the upgraded part number for the Caterpillar water temperature sending unit for this machine, and that is what the part number off of 4G updates to. This is also a OEM Caterpillar gauge, and my plan is to use Caterpillar OEM gauges, at least for now, and put them all the same, because it drove me nuts to have one good Sylphin gauge and then one mismatch hodgepodge. It just bugged me. So I want them all to be the same. I'm going to keep my eyes open for an original water temperature sending unit and gauge. I know it's like finding a unicorn, but I'm going to save all these for that in the future. Worst case scenario, this will definitely go on our 5T when we start it. To accompany those, I've got a 1W7554 indicator, and this is a fuel pressure gauge. This is going to go on the fuel tower. And this is, again, the upgraded part number for that unit. Part of the problem that I'm now faced with is that the Sylphin gauge is this much wider bezel and gauge face than the one that was originally on 4G, and all of the newer ones are this style. The original water temperature sender gauge was also a wide face gauge. Don't worry, Wheezy, I'm not taking them, but that's what we need right there on the right side gauge. Actually, both of them. I think the one on the right side is more in line with what we need. Now, I am spending way too much time trying to find these last few things. We've managed to find most of the parts, but this is super time consuming. And I know I saved that one off of that 7U fuel tower. I don't know where. Probably shouldn't say anything, but some of this has the cleaner's fingerprints all over it. If you were me, and be thankful that you're not, where would you put this stuff? Oh yeah, I see. I need to find another one of these too. We saved this one. I know I have another one around here somewhere. Where is it? We don't know. 7J fuel lines. I wonder. Nope, not there. I don't understand this because this is honestly the least amount of parts that we've had scattered all over the shop since we started this. Okay, it has got to be on this shelf somewhere. They both do. Somewhere. They've got to be here. Nothing in there. Son of a... Gotcha. That is indeedy the gauge we needy. Well, not the gauge, but that flanger on the outside of it. That's what we need. Now if I could just find that D4 tag, the world would be complete. So all my new gauges are this style that have the bracket that holds them on from the back. So when we go out to the D4 parts store, I need to look for something a little like this. Let's go see what we got. I distinctly remember something in the Rio McCoy here. It might work. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm a little worried that the machine screws have already... That'll work. I'll get that one off of there. Bad news is, those look like wood screws. So, they might have egged out the holes a little bit too big. I'll have to think about that one. Here we go. The grater hater. This 6U has one right here. Looks like it's already loose. Somebody tried to steal it already, but failed. Nice. That was easy. This one's pretty bent up. I think I can straighten that. Well, we'll take these all inside and take them apart and see what we got. I got more out there, it looks like. I just thought of something. I really like the color black with the yellow. That's kind of why we didn't paint the stack and the exhaust manifold that ugly silver. It would have been period, it would have been correct, but that black around the gauges, it's kind of neat, and it kind of reduces the glare when the operator's looking at it. Not only that, we have a lot of other parts to paint black still, so I think we might do that. This is one off of the grader hater out there. It cracks me up that there's paint on it, you know. Why tape it off? Just paint over it and deal with it later. It might not have been working when they gave this thing a coat of paint. This one's pretty bent though. We'll see what I can do with it. That one's pretty ugly. Might have to do some magic on that one if I want to use it. Or I'll look for another one out there. We're going to save this little fitting because, yes, I'm a D4 part hoarder now. Okay, that's 2. I'm going to stick this in the vise and get this off of here because we're going to need to reuse this. I'll put that back in the cleaner tank. Let's get this off of here. And this is another gauge, I think, that's going away. I was going to take this one off the real McCoy, but it looks to me like this whole gauge face is incorporated into this style of flange. So this is an upgraded one from when they went away from the larger style gauges to these smaller ones, and it pretty much looks built in. Let's take this 7J firewall back out there, and I'm going to see if I can find one more. Oh. Oof. Boy, I hate to rob one off of Old Smoky here. I think Old Smoky might be a future project. Let's see what we got out here. What about this one? Can opener, what do you got? This is the one on the 7J that we just looked at. Looks like that. And this is the much older style water temp gauge. Oh, poor Festus. He's been watching us, and I know he's dreading this. I do like your radiator cap here, Festus. Well, the water temp gauge has been robbed. Looks like rather recently. The oil pressures is still the old Sylphin, which, when we do our old 5T that's in the other shop here, I think we're going to use that Sylphin gauge that I have. This is just like that 7J that's inside. That won't work. All right, Old Smoky. Let me think about what we have inside and see if I'm going to be back. A lot of these tractors, most of them already been hit for the good parts, the magnetos, the carburetors, stuff like that. I should say the easy parts to get to. We're going to need this style because all the new style Caterpillar gauges are similar to this one, but they slide in here and then bolt on with this bracket on the back. So what I really need is 3 of these. This is one off of the 7J. And this would also work. This one has kind of a flange around the back of it. So I have 3. And these are kind of ugly, especially this one here. I think I'm going to go pay a visit to Old Smoky out there. I'm also going to need one of these to put a water temperature sending unit on our Caterpillar 22. If you haven't seen that playlist, check it out. I think we found another one that we overlooked right here on this older 7U on the fuel tower. Yoink.
Here, let me go start working on it.
We're going to get this ring off of here, and we have this one that's good, and we're going to use this one on the fuel tower, and this one I'm just going to put on the shelf.
Oh, this is just like
oh, don't tell me. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, we can use it.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Got to get it off of there.
The gauge don't want to come out of there.
No, it don't.
It's slow process, but Dad's trying to get this gauge out of here, and this outside part's a 6 Bravo 6158, I think. So right there, this outside part's peened to hold this gauge in here. I'm just going to take a little drill bit and drill that out. Got another one right there I need to get drilled out as well. You know, I suspected that there was 3, and there's 3. Look at that. That's about as straight as I'm going to get them. I'll degrease them and put some primer on them. This is a self-etching primer. I've wiped them all down, degreased them, and then I've also took some sandpaper to them to rough it up. I'm painting these in the shade. It's over 100 degrees out here today. They're over there curing in the sun. I've got them flipped over. I've got primer on both sides. Tomorrow we'll put a coat of black on them. We want to get our painting done this morning. It's going to be 103 today, 103 tomorrow, 103 the day after that, and then it's going to top it off with like 107 out here. So after we get this stuff painted, yeah, we're going to work inside. This is the back of those bezels that I got all cleaned up and primed yesterday. I'm going to paint the back of those. I'll flip them over, paint the front of them. While we got black paint out, we're going to paint this oil cooler, which you'll have to check out my older video on the oil system. We've pretty much, this is just going to be cosmetic. And we're going to paint the crank handle. If you find yourself enjoying this wacky content, consider a channel membership. The link is down below. There's a stockpile of old members-only videos and new ones coming out every month. Well, got that. We got a little bit of paint left, so we're just going to dust the old Farmall H crank. I know this one was relatively short, but this gauge thing was something I just had to iron out. It's been bugging me. So I do want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I just figured out why we're not getting any chicken eggs around here. Looks like 7 UD4s make a great nest.
Look at all those chickens.
You see, even the chickens around here are fans of Caterpillar.